All right. So welcome back to Brit Reviews at All. I'm going to be talking about Basketball Wives episode 1 of season 10. I didn't see that there was an actual like a name for this episode, so that's all it said. It's season 10, episode 1. So I have been watching Basketball Wives for since it originally started airing. Um, so they do, go into the scenes, pretty much showing all of the ladies who will be featured on this season. Um, they start off showing, all of the ladies receiving these invites. The whole time I had no idea what that invite was for, until eventually it turns out that Jackie and Doug, they were getting remarried again. So it was that was what the invites were for. Um, so with those two, they say that, they said that they do it every year, to each his own. That's what they like to do in their marriage, and clearly both parties love doing it. So if that works for them, beautiful. Keep doing what they're doing. Clearly something is working. Look how long they have been married. Um, let's see. So, they start showing, getting a little preview of what the venue looks like, the setup. It's very little. They kept it small. Um, kept it small. Everything was beautiful. Jackie starts talking about her dress. It's the dark green. That's Doug's favorite color. Beautiful. That dress. It actually was very, very pretty. We find out that Shawnee's not going to be able to make it. She was just. It was just some issues with trying to catch a flight or to get to her to get there in time, and so it just didn't work out, and she just couldn't come up with another solution that would get her there in time for the wedding ceremony. So they deal with that, and then everything gets going. Um, let's see. So we finally start seeing they start having the ladies come in. They show them one by one. Um, they show them one by one. Let me see. So we saw Delphi come in. She's back. She, introduces herself. We see a photo of her family. Beautiful. She says she's not married yet, still engaged, but everything is going well on her end. Then we have Angel come back in. I do remember Angel. We also have Brooke come back. Brooke was one of the originals. I remember her. Malaysia, British, Jennifer, Brandi was the last one that they showed coming in. And it was like immediately when she walked in, she's speaking to everyone. Um, you immediately see Malaysia's whole face. Like you could tell there was a shift in her energy, or in her comfortableness in that situation. Um, Brandy did speak, but I don't think she was speaking to Malaysia. Because Jennifer was sitting right beside Malaysia. But I'm curious to know that with Brandy saying, "Hey," whatever, if Malaysia would have just looked back at her and just spoke back, if that would have been, good enough. I feel like you could have at least just said hello. Y'all ain't got to be buddy buddy, but you could have said hello. Jennifer caught that little exchange that quick, and immediately started to ask Malaysia, hey, like what's going on? Now, mind you, they're not sitting that far apart from each other, from the ladies on one side, from where Jennifer and Malaysia is on the other side. So I'm just like, okay, so y'all don't hear each other asking questions. And I know, Brandy, you did, the room ain't that big, so you had to have heard your name come out of Jennifer's mouth. But she's just asking, like, hey, what's going on? I thought y'all, y'all real good friends. And Malaysia just pretty much just kept saying, oh no, there's no issue. We just don't speak. Um, I probably more so if her way is just saying, "Girl, leave it alone. I'm trying to keep it cute, but don't let's not go there. This Jackie and Doug wedding. I ain't trying to have no issues at this ceremony. It might turn into something else." Um, so let's see. And Brandy pretty much says that they had a falling out, but I'm like, what was the falling out? That's what we want to know. I don't remember this had to have happened when at a time where Brandy wasn't even on Basketball Wives anymore. I don't remember hearing anything about what happened between the two of them as to why they stopped talking anyway. So that's what we want to know. Um, Ceremony gets started. Jackie comes on out. The way she was coming, walking down that aisle, it was almost like, okay, ma'am, the dress is very beautiful, but the way you were moving in the dress is almost like it was just too tight and you could barely move in it. Sure, she's not the only woman that has dealt with that. Doug like it, but she kept it cute though. So moving on. The reception gets started immediately after that, of course. And the ladies, they all have their assigned seats. Um, they go in to where Duffy is with her little setup. So with her being the DJ, it did make sense that Jackie. I'm wondering if she hired her to DJ, or just for the sake of the show, she just asked if she would step in and just do that. That's a good question. But anyway, Angel says that she has a new boyfriend, but in her confessional, she's saying that they're holding out on a secret. And I'm like, girl, I mean, okay, I guess I don't see what we'll get there. I don't want to jump all the way through to the end of the episode, but we just see, the reception is happening. Everybody seems like they're catching up. Just talking. Hey, girl, because remember this was after the pandemic, so they weren't really able to film in like that. So now everybody's back there catching up. I kept seeing some familiar faces from the last season. I don't know if they're I forget their names. I don't know if it's Nora and Nia, something like that. Their faces keep popping up in this episode, so I'm assuming that they are not featured. They're not the top wives, but they are um, like a friend of the show. So I would have liked to see them more into them, because I was intrigued from the last season that they were on. I wanted to know more. But anyway, moving on. So the ladies were talking. It was Duffy, Brandy, and I believe Brooke. So Duffy, you could tell just from what the way she was speaking, she was really more so trying to get Brandy to just kind of let it go for that moment, not at that wedding, because you don't know what was going to come of her approach in Malaysia. And she was just like, no, I don't think you should, maybe not right now. But Brandy is pretty much like, no, we're not speaking. I want to go up to her. I want to at least say hi. I want to, get some kind of interaction with her. So she decided to do it anyway. Once she walks up and initiates a conversation, or, to speak to Malaysia, it was still that immediate, like it's almost like Malaysia kind of freezes up, like she's holding back something for the sake of where she is at that moment. Which, like we said, you're at the reception for Jackie and Doug's wedding. You don't want to be disrespectful and let anything go sideways and ruin their event. So they have this little uncomfortable, weird exchange of and you could really tell that Malaysia really did not want to speak, but just for the sake of not looking like a butthole, she said something. um Brandy pretty much brings up, and she just asked her, did you know Wolf died? Now, when she said Wolf, I had no idea who she was talking about, but I'm grateful that, like, right after that, she went in her confessional. She said it's her father. Malaysia's pretty much saying, no, we haven't been talking. We don't run in this, we don't have the same friends. I I didn't know. And Brandy is just like, ma'am, I ain't even trying to hear that. We do have the same mutual friends. You did know, and you chose not to even reach out to me, regardless of what the issues were. You did not reach out to me to try to say anything at all. And Malaysia knew her dad, um, but Malaysia is still going saying no, she did not. So I mean, Brandy pretty much was just not trying to hear that. Um, and then at that point, Malaysia's just like, okay, you know what? My energy is off with that little interchange, that little discussion right there. You just threw me off. My energy is not right. I need to get up out of here. So she gets up and she makes her exit. Um, what it seems like what is happening in that at that time is more so of a her story versus her story. I mean, to be honest, it's like, okay, Brandy, if you don't have factual information to know that Malaysia knew that your father passed away, you cannot sit there and tell her what she knew and what she didn't. Um, like that conversation's not gonna go anywhere when you doing that. Um, I just thought that was kind of strange. Like, how can you tell me if I'm telling you, saying something to me, and I'm telling you I had no idea, you know, but you sit here and tell me, no, yes, you did. It's like, huh? No, Brandy, it doesn't work like that. But Jackie goes after Malaysia, to try to catch her, to kind of be like, hey, what's going on. So she gives her like a little quick little 1-2 and just let her know, like, hey, this is what happened. I feel like I need to get up out of here. Jackie wasn't able to convince her to stay, so she went on and left. They move on into where Shawnee and Jackie, they are meeting up to just catch up. Shawnee was finally able to get there. Um, so they was just pretty much talking, just saying, hey, little chit chat, catch up. How's your man? I heard you have a new boo. Shawnee has a new boo apparently, and she seems to be, pretty good and has some good energy going on, and she likes where she is. Um, let's see. And then, of course, Jackie's going to give her the update, of course. She brings Shawnee up to date about, what happened with Malaysia and Brandy. So, um, Shawnee's pretty much like, I'm going to talk to Brandy. I want to meet up. I'm going to meet up with her anyway. So I'll just, kind of talk to her and see, like, find out what the heck is going on, because the goal for what they're trying to do is to create a support system for the women in that environment, to support each other, uplift each other, but not to be just at odds. That's the goal. Understood. Um, da, 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 da. So they move on from there after Jackie and Shawnee. Angel comes in, and we are introduced to who her boyfriend is. Now, originally, she just said Rock. Turns out it's actually Rock Star, who, if you are a Love and Hip Hop fan, you will know that he was definitely in Love and Hip Hop LA. He was on there. So that is how I know who he is. So those two, they ended up dating. Um, don't know if that's still current. We find out that the secret that she was talking about is that she's pregnant. They were keeping it quiet for the moment because there were some health concerns going on as far as her making it through the pregnancy full term. Um, so she said she did get her results back. She's good to go. Baby's good, and that's wonderful. She's mentions being concerned about people people getting upset about, her not telling them, or, waiting for as long as she did before she said anything. It's like, girl, no, you need to be concerned about your mental health, your physical health, your baby's health, and what the father had, what y'all three have going on. Anybody else, it shouldn't matter. Not at all. Um, and they were discussing, he's saying he thinks it's a boy. And they're, bring up the topic of names. What should we name the baby if it's a boy? He's like, we should name him Prince. And she's like, well, all my children, their names start with the A, just like mine. And she's like, what do you think about a prince? Ma'am, no. No, ma'am, no. Um, Clearly, he's going to want to have some input on the child's name. So let's see how that goes. We'll see what happens with those two. So then they go over to Malaysia, just kind of popping in on her. You see that she is FaceTiming with her children, checking in on them for the summer. They go with their father. But she's like, she's in LA to work on some business related things. She's trying to get establish a business. Um, to keep making money, to keep doing what she's doing, living the lifestyle that she wants to live, and providing for her children in the way that she wants, that she needs. So she basically says the co-parenting between her and Gennaro, it is not good at all. Um, as we keep going, we will get in more into that as Malaysia starts to open up a little bit more about what's going on between her and her ex-husband. Um, they go over into Jackie and Doug's LA home. Now I noticed that because it said it, there is a Jackie and Doug's LA home, which basically indicates that they have a more than one home. Um, Ain't nothing wrong with that. If that's what y'all feel that y'all need as a family, there's nothing wrong with it. Um, so she pretty much exactly said, like not too long after they showed where they were, she said they now have three homes. Just closed on, bought a home in Sacramento, California. Um, and we come to find out, because I don't keep up with that kind of stuff, but now we know that Doug has been brought on as a coach for the Sacramento Kings. So that is why they purchased a home in Sacramento. Um, I think that is awesome. Like, he was expressing that, his passion is basketball. He loves it to death. So for him to get the opportunity to be a coach for an NBA team, is living a dream for him, and that's beautiful. They said that they're pretty much going to have to work with each other on their schedules. He'll drop in when he can. She'll drop in when she can, as she always does. This is nothing new. We know this. Um, I'll get back to that little part in a minute. Um, but we'll put a pin in there for a second and move on. Shawnee, I mean, they were going from scene to scene to scene, coming with it, coming with it. So Shawnee, she's meeting up with Brandy. They go and sit down and have a little chit chat, catch up. They're pretty much saying, the flashback to, all the little incidents between the two of them. They pretty much like, we have been over that. That stuff is old, years old. We are good. Um, and then of course, they just in catching up with what's been going on. Shawnee goes right in for it and said, "What's going on between you and Malaysia?" Um, Brandy pretty much is saying that, just with her friends, people that are around her and supporting her in life, she just feels that Malaysia has not been there through everything, as a good friend should be. I still at that moment was just like, okay, there's still something that you're not saying. Same with Malaysia. Y'all are not giving the full picture because you're starting from there. Start from the beginning to what occurred to get y'all to the point to where y'all do not talk, because clearly that happened prior to you losing your father, prior to any little thing, where you said she said she lost some people, things like that. Clearly, y'all were not talking already. So something happened. You said y'all had a falling out, and that, as the viewer, that's what I want to know. Start at the beginning. We're missing a piece, and to it's hard to feel some type of sympathy towards either one of them because we don't know. Not saying pick a side, but I'm just saying I would love to understand the full picture as to what happened, especially with them being 14, 15 years into a friendship. That's that's very strange. Yes, people outgrow each other, yes. But if you're gonna talk about it, talk about it. Anyway, so pretty much Shawnee is pretty much just saying, you know what, we were able to work out, whatever we had going on. Give her another try. Y'all been friends for X amount of years. Don't just write it off so easily. Really try to see if it's something that can be fixed. Good advice. So then moving on, like I said, they're coming with the scenes. Um, Malaysia goes to meet up with Jackie. They're sitting down, having a mimosa. So of course, Jackie with her extraness, she always does the most randomest things, ma'am. We don't want to know what the heck you and Doug be doing. Okay, do what you got to do to keep your marriage spicy, but we don't need no outlet, and we never do. I don't. Somebody might like it, but I prefer not to if you don't mind. But it's okay. It's funny. It's Jackie. It's all good. She Malaysia pretty much just makes a statement just about how her and Jackie's relationship is, how they're always 100 with each other, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever. They can always come back to a good place because they are always 100 with each other all the way around. Um, so Jackie pretty much goes into asking Malaysia, confirming that Gennaro, he is a coach as well. And just wanting to ask, what does that look like? Like, is it that job, taking on a job like that? Is this something that they are busy all the time? Like, in Malaysia, pretty much is like, yeah, they have no time for anything. Like, even if it's not a game, there's things outside of that that goes along with the job. Um, so I mean, she gets a little bit emotional because on one end, yes, you're happy for that person doing something that they love, and that's great. But she pretty much says that he doesn't help with child support. He doesn't pay child support. He basically says he doesn't have any money, and like she said, she knows that that is not true at all. So it's almost like everything is basically on her, and it's very unfair. But he'll get the kids in the summer, and it's just like you haven't been paying or helping with anything pertaining to those your children. She has three of them. Terrible. And of course, Jackie gets mad about that. She's like, no, ma'am, no, sir. You definitely are supposed to be there for your children, not just physically, but also financially. It should never just be on one parent. Yeah. So after they, kind of talk about that, and then, Malaysia pretty much saying she's just been trying to just hold it together and just kind of taking it, just be like, okay, whatever. But it's like, Malaysia, that's not good, girl. You can't do that. She says she does it just for the sake of not rocking the boat. Mm. But I would like to get more from her to just, let her open up more about everything that she has going on, because as we know, life is not perfect. Every little thing is not perfect. Um, Regardless of how much money you make, right? Um, so then Jackie basically she says that she's planning a little all girls outing with the ladies, and she wants Malaysia to come. She says yes, of course, because you are asking, I will bite that bullet. I will come. All right. They go into the scene. The ladies meet up. Everybody's, in good energy. Everybody's, kikiing with each other. They're getting ready. They're bringing out the drinks. Everybody keeps trying to offer Ashley one, and I'm just like, girl, Go on and tell him that you're pregnant, okay? Because clearly, as Brooke said, she noticed your waistline. She ain't say nothing because you didn't say nothing. But girl, just tell them that you're pregnant. But she did, and they had some good energy about it, and she was, finally just able to kind of let that out and let it be. So they can drink, she cannot. Malaysia finally comes in. She's the last one to walk in. She came in and you could feel it through the screen that her energy from the face and everything was already not there. Um, like you don't want to be there, which was the same way you were in Jackie's scene when you're filming with everybody. But when it's just you and one individual and one other person, your energy is totally different. So hopefully we'll get to see a little bit more, and hopefully she'll that'll be able to change because it's like, girl, do you laugh? Do you? I mean, give us something. 'Cause right now we getting a little ugly attitude, ugly mood, ugly energy type Malaysia. Would like to see her be able to smile more, laugh more, and maybe she was going through some things at that time, like she did say, had nothing to do with anybody that was out there. She just was dealing with some family related things, and she just her energy was off by the time she got there. Um, and I don't understand why Brandy took that moment to take a jab at Malaysia. If she's saying no, it's my energy, it's not y'all. Like I got my own personal stuff going on. It's me. It is not y'all. It's me. She took that as a moment to basically just kind of go in on her. Um, like basically, she's like, "Girl, I don't care nothing about your feelings and what you're going through. You don't care nothing about my feelings and what I was going through. So you can keep that." She done told the girl she has a character flaw. I mean, Randy, you're really, really angry. Um, it was just a real nasty interchange between the two. But it's like I think it's because of the years of friendship that they had that, and it's so much built up anger there. Um, and we would hope that they get to figure that out before it blows up into something else, right? Um, by the end of that, somehow, Jackie says something addressing everybody and just pretty much saying, we want to help y'all to figure this thing out. And finally, Malaysia lets her guard down a little bit and says, you know what, if you'd like to go ahead and step to the side and let's talk, let's have a chat, um, let's go do it. Um, Brandy agrees. So they go off and start talking and trying to address what was going on, what's happened. And um, I mean, it was pretty much the same thing coming from Brandy's part. She's basically saying, you know, you didn't reach out to me, with my father passing away. Malaysia's explaining herself again, you know, from her point of view, and she's still sitting there telling her, "No, we have mutual friends. You knew," and it's like, how can you tell her that unless you have actual proof that she knew? And if you do, can you show it to us, please? And then we can understand where you're coming from and why you're so mad. She's like, Brandy, no, she's like, Malaysia, I know you. I know you. You have um this attitude, just I mean literally ripping her up. And Malaysia's just like, why are you trying to tear me down? Like what is going, what is it? I just And then she uses that character flaw. She says that again, saying that she has the character flaw. It's like, are you coming in trying to trigger Malaysia? Because saying something like that to a person is just like, now you attacking my character. You saying that I'm flawed? I'm a flawed individual? Like, no, no, no. Um, I think Brandy is coming on a little too strong, but like I said, that could be because she has so many years of pent up aggression and anger towards Malaysia for not hearing from her during those hard times. Um, but again, I mean, it's like you're expecting her to sit there and say, okay, you know what, Brandy, you're right. I did know and I didn't say anything. And it's like, well, if she's telling you she didn't know, she didn't know. Um, but we'll see what happens with this season. It looks like it is going to be pretty good. Hopefully they roll out the episodes pretty good and they stay interesting. Um, we'll see what happens with this season. I think they have a good group of ladies put back together. Um, and we'll see where it goes from there. But yeah, let's talk about it. If you have anything to say about that episode, let me know. Maybe it's something I missed that I don't know about. The biggest thing for me out of that whole episode was the thing about between Malaysia and Brandy. Like, start from the beginning and tell us, what did y'all fall out about? What was it? It had to be something very, very, very serious for y'all to stop talking to each other, and y'all have been friends for 14, 15 years. So I would love to know. But if anybody knows, please tell me. So I can understand. I ain't trying to pick a side, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, everybody had their own side of the story, so we'll see. But okay, but yeah, I will keep the videos coming. I watch Basketball Wives, like I said, so I'll be back next week with episode 2. Like, comment, subscribe, um, and enjoy your day. Bye, and thank you for watching.